Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadhamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapata Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tarale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkrapatamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Ishwaram Harihi Om Tatsat. Hare Krishna. So, thank you all for joining in for day number 21 of Purushottam Adhika Mas. So, we are on our regular prayer session, singing songs, chanting the verses of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and Harinam Sankirtan for the pleasure of Guru and Gauranga. And of course, we will do our main agenda of study of Srila Prabhupada's book, Perfection of Yoga. We are on chapter number 7. So we'll try to finish this chapter in this month of Purushottam Adhika Mas. So we also perfect our Bhakti Yoga process in this way. Let's see how we're able to do that. Let's quickly start off with our chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra with His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। नमो विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र शतक डिवाइन ग्रेस अभी चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। गंगा मैया की जय, यमुना मैया की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, तुलसी महारानी की जय, सामवेद भक्त वृंद की जय। कलियुग पतित पावन हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय, सामवेद भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। मथुरा धाम की जय, वृंदावन धाम की जय, मायापुर नवदीप धाम की जय, पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, सामवेद भक्त वृंद की जय। All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So now let's jump into our study of the Bhagavad Gita. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Chapter 15 entitled The Yoga of the Supreme Person. And this is Purushottam Adhikamas. And we are studying this chapter on Purushottama Yoga for the pleasure of Guru and God. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Urdhvamula Madha Shakam Ashwatam Prahuravayam Chandamsi Yasya Parnani Yastam Vedasa Vedavid Adashchodvam Prashritastasya Shakha Guna Pravridhakshya Pravala Adasya Mulananu Santatani Karmanubandini Manushya Narupamasyeha Tadopalabhyate Nanto Nacharya Nacha Sampratishta Ashwatthamenam Suviruda Moolam Asanga Shastrena Dharena Chitva Tatah Padam Tat Parimargitavyam Yasmin Gatana Nivartanti Bhuyah Tameva Chadyam Purusham Prapadye Yatah Pravrti Prasata Purani Nirmana Moha Jita Sangadosha Adhyatma Nitya Vinivritta Kama Dvandver Vimukta Sukadoka Samyair Gachanti Mudha Padamavyayam Tat Na tad bhasyate suryo na shashanko na pavakah yadgatva na nivartante tadhama paramam mama mamaiva amsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatanah manah shastani indriyani prakriti sthani karshati shariram yat avapnoti yat chapi utkramti ishvarah grihitvaitani samyati vayurgandhani vashayat shrotram chakshu sparshanam cha rasanam granam evacha adhisthaya manaschayam vishayanupasevate Utkramantam sitam vapi bhunjanam vagunanvitam vimudhananupashyanti pashyanti jnana chakshushaha yatanto yoginas chainam pashyanti atmanyavasthitam yatantopi kritatmano nainam pashyanti chetasah yad adityagatam tejo jagadbhasayate khilam yad chandramasi yad chagnau tat tejo viddimamakam gamavishya cha bhutani dharayami ahamojasa pushnami choshadi sarva somo bhutva rasatmakah Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashritah Pranapana Samayuktaha Pacham Yannam Chaturvidam सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सन्निविष्टो मतः स्मृतिर्ज्ञानमपोहनं च वेदैश्च सर्वैरहमेव वेद्यो वेदान्तकृद्वेदविदेव चाहं द्वाविमौ पुरुषौ लोके क्षरश्चाक्षर एव च क्षरः सर्वाणि भूतानि कूटस्थोऽक्षर उच्यते उत्तमः पुरुषस्त्वन्यः परमात्मेति उदाहृतः यो लोकत्रयमाविश्य विवर्त्यव्य ईश्वरः यस्माक्षरम् अतीतोऽहम् अक्षरादपि चोत्तमः अतोऽस्मि लोके वेदे च प्रथितः पुरुषोत्तमः यो मामेवम् असम्मूढो जानाति पुरुषोत्तमं स सर्वविद् विजयति मां सर्वभावेन भारतः इति गुह्यतमं शास्त्रम् इदमुक्तं मया नघ एतद् बुद्ध्वा बुद्धिमान् स्यात् कृतकृत्यश्च भारत हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. I will recite Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, chapter number 14, entitled Prayers by Lord Brahma to Lord Sri Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naranchaiva Nanottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udhirayet Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namo Pankajanabhaya Namo Pankajamaline Namo Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangre Pahi Pahi Mahayogin Deva Deva Jagatpate Nanyam Dvadabhyam Pashe Yatra Mrityu Parasparam Krishna Krishna Mahabaho Bhaktanam Abhayankara Tvameko Dhayyamananam Apavargosi Samshrute Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Brahma Vacha Naumedyate Brahvakushe Tadidambaraya Gunjavatam Sapadi Pichala Sanmukhaya Vanyasraje Kavalavitra Vishana Venu Lakshmi Shriye Mridupade Pashupangajaya अस्यापि देव वपुषो मत् अनुग्रहस्य स्वेच्छामयस्य न तु भूतमयस्य कोऽपि नेशे महीत्वसतितं मनसान्तरेण साक्षात् तवैव किम् उत्तात्मसुखानुभूतेः ज्ञाने प्रयासं मुदपास्य नमन्त एव जीवन्ति सन्मुखरितां भवदीयवार्तां स्थाने स्थिता श्रुतिगतां तनुवान् मनोभिर् ये प्रयाशो अजितजितोऽपि यसितैस्त्रिलोक्याम् श्रेयः श्रुतिं भक्तिमुदस्य ते विभो क्लिश्यन्ति ये केवलबोधलब्धये तेषामसौ क्लेशल एव शिष्यते नान्यद्यथा स्थूलतुषावगातिनाम् पुरेह भूमन् बहवोऽपि योगिनः स्वदर्पितेह निजकर्मलब्धया विबुध्य भक्त्यैव गतोपनीतया प्रपेदिरेञ्जोच्युत ते गतिं पराम् तथापि भूमन् महिमा गुणस्य ते विबोधमर्हत्यमलान्तरात्मभिः अविक्रियात् स्वानुभवादरूपतो ह्यनन्यबोध्यात्मतयन्न चान्यथा गुणात्मनस्तेऽपि गुणान् विमातुं हितावतीर्णस्य कैक्षरेस्य कालेन यैर्वा विमितासु कल्पैर्भूपांशवः केमि कदुभासः तत्तेऽनुकम्पां सुसमीक्ष्यमाणो भुञ्जान एवात्मकृतं विपाकं हृद्वद्वपूर्दिं विदधा नमस्ते जीवेत ये मुक्तिपदे सदाय भाग पश्येषमेनार्यमनन्त आद्ये परात्मनि त्वयि अपि मायिनी मायां विदध्येक्षितुमात्मवैभवं हि अहं कियानैच्छमिवार्चिरग्नौ अतः क्षमस्वाच्युत मे रजो भुवो हि यजानतस्त्वत्प्रतिगीषमानिनः अजाबले पाण्डतमोऽन्धचक्षुषा एषोऽनुकम्प्यो मयि नाथवानिति वाहं तमो महदहं कचराग्निवार्भू संवेशितान्धघटसप्तवितस्तिकायः क्वेदृग्विदा विगणिताण्डपरानुचार्य वादाद्वरोमविवरस्य च ते महित्वम् उत्क्षेपणं गर्भगतस्य पादयो किं कल्पते मातुर्दोक्षजागसे किम् अस्ति नास्ति व्यपदेशभूषितं तवास्ति विकुक्षे कियदाप्यनन्तः जगत्त्रायान्ततो दधी सम्प्लवोदे नारायणास्योदरणाभिनालात् विनिर्गतोजस्विदिवान्न वै मृषा किन्त्वीश्वरत्वन्न विनिर्गतोऽस्मि नारायणस्त्वं न हि सर्वदेहिनाम् आत्मस्य दीक्षा किल लोकसाक्षी नारायणोऽङ्गं नरभूजलायनात् तच्चापि सत्यं न तवैव माया तच्चेजलस्थं तव सज्जगत्वपुः किं मे न दृष्टं भगवंस्तदैव किं वा सुदृष्टं हृदि मे तदैव किं नो सपद्येव पुनर्व्यदर्शि अत्रैव माया दमनावतारे हि अस्य प्रपञ्चस्य बहिः सुतस्य कृत्स्नस्य चान्तर्जठरे जनन्या मायात्मेव प्रकृतीकृतां ते यस्य कुक्षाविदं सर्वं शात्मं भाति यथा तथा तत्त्वय्यपि ह तत्सर्वं किम् इदं मायया विना अद्यैव त्वद्रदेश किं मम न ते माया तुमादर्शितम् एकोऽसि प्रथमं ततो व्रज सुहृद्वत्सा समस्ता अपि तावन्तोऽसि चतुर्भुजा सदखिलैः साकं मयोपासितास् तावन्त्येव जगन्त्यभूसतमिदं ब्रह्माद्वयं शिष्यते अजानतां त्वत्पदवीमात्मात्मनि आत्मात्मना वासि वितत्य माया सृष्टा इवाहं जगतो विधान इव त्वमेषोऽन्त इव त्रिनेत्रः सुरेष्व ऋषिवीश तथैव नृष्वपि तिर्यक्षु यादवस्सपि ते जनस्य जन्मा सतां दुर्मदनिग्रहाय प्रभो विधातः स अनुग्रहाय च को वेति भूमन् भगवान् परात्मन् योगेश्वरोतिर्भवतस्त्रिलोक्याम् क्व वा कथं वा कति वा कदेति विस्तारयन् क्रीडसि योगमायाम् तस्मादिदं जगदशेषमसत्स्वरूपम् स्वप्नाभमस्तदिशनं कुरु दुःखदुःखम् त्वय्येव नित्यसुखबोधतनावनन्ते मायात उद्यदपि यत्सत् इवाववाति एकस्त्वमात्मपुरुषः पुराणः सत्यस्वयं ज्योतिरनन्त आद्यः नित्यो अक्षरो जश्रसुको निरञ्जनः पूर्णाद्वयो मुक्त उपादितो मृतः एवं विद्धं त्वां सकलात्मनामपि स्वात्मानमात्मात्मतया विचक्षते गुर्वर्कलब्धोपनिषत्सु चक्षुषा एते तरन्तीव भवान् रताम्बुदीम् आत्मानमेवात्मतया विजानतां तेनैव जातं निखिलं प्रपञ्चितं ज्ञानेन भूयोऽपि च तत् प्रलीयते रज्ज्वामहेर्भोगभवाभौ यथा अज्ञानसंज्ञौ भवबन्धमोक्षौ द्वौ नाम नान्यौ सरतज्ञनाभावात् अजस्रचित्यात्मनि केवले परे विचार्यमाणे तरणाविवाहने त्वमात्मानं परं मत्वा परम् आत्मानमेव च आत्म पुनर्बहिर्मृग्य अहो ज्ञाजनताज्ञता अन्तर्भवे अनन्त भवन्तमेव यदत्यजन्तो मृगयन्ति सन्तः असन्तम् अपि यन्ति अयमन्तरेण सन्तं गुणं तं किम् उयन्ति सन्तः अतापि ते देव पदाम्बुजद्वय प्रसादलेशानुगृहीत एव हि जानाति तत्त्वं भगवान् महिम्नो न चान्ये कोऽपि चिरं विचिन्वन् तदस्तु मेनाथ स भूरिभागो भवेत्रवान्यत्र तु वातिरश्चम् येनाहमेकोऽपि भवजनानां भूत्वा निषेवे तव पादपल्लवम् अहोति धन्या व्रजघोरमण्यः स्तन्यामृतं पीतमतीव ते मुदा यासां विभो वत्सतरात्मजात्मना यत्तृप्तयेद्यापि न चालम् अध्वराः अहो भाग्यं नन्दगोपव्रजौकशम् यन्मित्रं परमानन्दं पूर्णं ब्रह्म सनातनम् येषां तु भाग्यमहिमा अच्युत तावदस्ताम् एकादशैव हि वयं वत भूरिभागाः एतदृशीकचषकैरसकृत् पिबामः शर्वादयोऽङ्घ्रियुदजा मदमृतासवं ते तद्भूरिभाग्यं इह जन्म किमप्यताव्यां यद्गोकुलेऽपि कथमाङ्घ्रिरजोऽभिषेकम् यज्जीवितं तु निखिलं भगवान् मुकुन्दस्त्वद्यापि यत्पदरजः श्रुतिमृग्यमेव येषां घोषनिवासिनम् उत भवान् किं देवरातेति न चेतो विश्वफलात् फलं त्वदपरं कुत्रापि अयन्मुह्यति सद्वेषादिव पूतनापि सकुतला सकुला त्वामेव देवा पिता यद्दामार्तसुहृत्प्रियात्मतनया प्राणाशयास्त्वत्कृते तावद्रागदयस्तेन तावत्कारगृहं गृहं तावन्मोहोऽङ्घ्रिनिगडो यावत् कृष्णनते जनाः प्रपञ्चं निष्प्रपञ्चोऽपि विदम्बयसि भूतले प्रपन्न जनतानन्द सन्दोहं प्रतितुं प्रभो जानन्त एव जानन्तु किं बहुक्त्यान मे प्रभो मनसो वपुषो वाचो वैभवं तव गोचरः अनुजानीहि मां कृष्ण सर्वं त्वं वेचि सर्वदृक् त्वमेव जगतां नाथो जगत् एतत् तवार्पितम् श्रीकृष्ण वृष्णि कुलपुष्कर जोषदायीन् क्ष्मानिर्जरद्विज पशुदादिवृद्धिकारीन् उद्धर्म शार्वर हरक्षीति रक्षसाद्रुक् आकल्पमार्गमर्हन् भगवन् नमस्ते श्रीशुक उवाच इति अभिष्टूय भूमानां त्रिपरिक्रम्य पादयोः नट्वाभिष्टं जगद्दात स्वधाम प्रत्यपद्यता ततोऽनुज्ञाप्य भगवान् स्वभुवं प्रगवस्थितान् वत्सान् पुलीनमानिन्ये यथा पूर्वसकं स्वखम् एकस्मिन्नपि यातेब्धे प्राणेशं चान्तरात्मनः कृष्णं माया हता राजन् क्षणार्धं मे निरेर्वकाः किं किं न विस्मरन्तीह माया मोहितचेतसः यन्मोहितं जगत्सर्वम् अभीक्ष्णं विस्मृतात्मकम् उचिष्ट सुहृदं कृष्णं स्वागतं तेति रंहसा नैकोऽपि अभोजि कवला एहिता साधु पूज्यताम् ततो हसन् ऋषिकेशो व्यावहर्त्य सहार्भकैः दर्शयन् शर्माजगरं न्यवर्तत वनाद्रजम् बर्हा प्रशूनवनदातु विचित्रिताङ्गः प्रोधाम वेणुदलशृङ्गरवोत्सवाद्यः वत्सान् गृणन् अनुगगीत पवित्र कीर्तिर् गोपी दृगुत्सवदृशी प्रविवेश गोष्ठम् अद्यानेन महाव्यालो यशोदानन्दशूनुना हतो वीतवयं चष्मात् इति बालव्रजे जगुः श्रीराजोवाच ब्रह्मन् परोद्भवे कृष्णे इयान् प्रेमा कथं भवेत् यो भूता पूर्वस्तोकेषु स्वोद्भावेष्वपि कथ्यताम् श्रीशुक उवाच सर्वेषामपि भूतानां नृपस्वात्मैव वल्लभा इतरे पत्यवित्ताद्यास्तद्वल्लभता यैव हि तद्राजेन्द्र यथा स्नेह स्वस्वाकात्मनि देहिनां न तथा ममतालाम्बी पुत्रवित्तग्रादिषु देहात्मवादिनं पुंसाम् अपि राजन्यसत्तमा यथा देहप्रियतमस्तथा नहि अनूये च तम् देहोऽपि ममता भक्षेत् तर्ह्यसौ नात्मवत्प्रियः यज्जेड्यति अपि देहेऽस्मिन् जीविताश बलीयसे तस्मात् प्रियतमः स्वात्मा सर्वेषामपि देहिनां तदर्थमेव सकलं जगत् एतत् चराचरम् कृष्णमेनम् अवेहित्वम् आत्मानामखिलात्मनां जगद्दीताय सोऽप्यत्र देहि वा भाति मायया वस्तुतो जानतामत्र कृष्णं स्थाष्णु च विष्णु च भगवद्रूपमखिलं नान्यद्वास्ति वः किञ्चन सर्वेषामपि वस्तूनां भावार्थो भवति स्थितः तस्यापि भगवान् कृष्णः किम् अतद्वस्तुरूप्यताम् समाश्रिता ये पदपल्लवप्लवं महत्पदं यशो मुरारे भवाम्बुधिर्वत्सपदं परं पदं 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 यद् पदां न तेषाम् एतत्ते सर्वमाज्ञातं यत् पृष्टोऽहम् इह त्वया तत्कौमारे हरिकृतं पौगण्डे परिकीर्तितम् एतत् सुहृद्भ्यश्चरितं मुरारेत् अगाढधनं शाद्वरजेमनं च व्यक्तेतरद्रूपमजोर्वभिष्टवं शृण्वन् गृह्णन्नेति नरो किलार्थान् एवं विहारै कौमारं जहतुर्व्रजे नीलायनय सेतुबन्धैर्मर्कटतोत्प्लवनादिभिः हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. I will sing this beautiful song glorifying the butter thief, praying to the Lord that make our heart as soft as butter so that Krishna may be interested in coming and stealing our hearts. May we capture Lord Krishna in the karagraph of our heart, the prison house of our hearts, and in this way our heart will get illuminated with transcendental knowledge and prema for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Shri Radha and Krishna. Radhe prasidam navanita choram gopangananam cha kula choram अनेक जन्मार्जित पाप चौरम चौराग्रगण्यं पुरुषं नमामि श्रीराधिकाया हृदयस्य चौरं नवमुदश्यामलकान्ति चौरं पादाश्रितानां च समस्तचौरं चौराग्रगण्यं पुरुषं नमामि अकिञ्चनीकृत्य पादाश्रितं यः करोति भिक्षुं पतिगेहहीनं केनाप्यहो भीषणचौरैर्दृक् दृष्टश्रुतो वा न जगत्त्रयेऽपि यदीयनामापि हरत्यशेषं गिरिप्रसारानपि पापराशिम् आश्चर्यरूपो ननु चौरैर्दृक् दृष्टश्रुतो वा न मया कदापि दानं च मानं च ततीन्द्रियाणि प्राणं च हृत्वा मम सर्वमेव पलायसे कुत्र धृतोद्यचोरा त्वं भक्तिदानासि मया निरूढा छिन्नत्सि घोरं यमपाशबन्धं भिन्नत्सि भीमं भवपाशबन्धम् छिन्नति सर्वस्य समस्ताबन्धं नैवात्मनो भक्तकृतं तु बन्धं मन्मानसे तामसराशि घोरे कारागृहे दुःखमये निबधा लभस्व है चौर हरे चिराय सौचौर्यदोषोचितमेव तन्दं कारागृहे वस सदा हृदये मदीये मद्भक्तिपाश दृढबन्धन निश्चल सन् त्वां कृष्ण हे प्रलय कोटि शतान्तरेऽपि सर्वस्व चौर हृदयान् नहि मोचयामि हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. I will sing this beautiful song. Krishna Premamayi Radha Radha Premamayo Hari. Jivane Nidhane Nityam Radha Krishna Gatir Mama. And whether in life or in death, let us always take shelter of Shri Radha and Krishna. So that's the mood. Krishna Premamayi Radha Radha Premamayo Hari. जीवने न धने नित्यं राधा कृष्ण गति मम कृष्णस्य द्राविणं राधा राधाया द्रविणानादिः जीवने न धने नित्यं राधा कृष्ण गति मम कृष्ण प्राणमयी राधा राधा प्राणमयो हरिः जीवने न धने नित्यं राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम कृष्ण द्रवमयी राधा राधा द्रवमयो हरिः जीवने न धने नित्यं राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम कृष्ण गेहे स्थिता राधा राधा गेहे स्थितो हरिः जीवने न धने नित्यं राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम कृष्ण चित्त स्थिता राधा राधा चित्त स्थितो हरिः जीवने न धने नित्यं राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम नीलांबरधरा राधा पीतांबरधरो हरिः जीवने निधने नित्यं राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम वृंदावनेश्वरी राधा कृष्णो वृंदावनेश्वरः वृंदावनेश्वरी राधा कृष्णो वृंदावनेश्वरः जीवने न धने नित्यं राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Radha Sham, Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham, Jaya Radhe Sham, Jaya Radha Vrindavan Chandra, Radhe Radhe, Jaya Radha Vrindavan, Natha Radha Vrindavan, Natha, Radhe Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Gurudev, Gurudev, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Jai Shri Radhe Shyam. Hare Krishna. So now let us go on to our study of the perfection of yoga by His Divine Grace Avicharanavinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we are on chapter number 7. We are reading Yoga as re-establishing relation with Krishna. So Prabhupada actually mentions in one of his beginning lectures, Prabhupada says we are all originally Krishna conscious living entities. However, due to our connection with matter, we have somehow got entangled in the three complicated meshes of material nature. We have entrapped ourselves in the three modes of material nature because we've forgotten our relationship with Krishna. So this yoga, which is that yoga which helps us re-establish our relationship with Krishna, that yoga is called Bhakti Yoga. So this is the yoga that we're going to discuss. And the first paragraph, Prabhupada spoke about the three kinds of realizations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vadanti tattvavidas tattvam yadvanam abdvayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdyate. The first realization is understanding that the Krishna's form as the effulgence, right? The light, which is beyond the three modes of material nature, which is Brahma Bhuta, Prasannatma, na shochati, na kankshati. One is situated in peace, no hankering, no lamentation. Just, shanti, shanti, that is a state. Right? But Jivera Swarupaya, Krishna and Nitya Das. Why? We are servants of the Lord. Why we are aspiring to become servants of the Lord? Because we are not satisfied with peace. Right? Even this material world also, if it is so much peace, there is no ups and downs, we feel bored, isn't it? Otherwise, there is no spice in life, isn't it? So we are not satisfied with peace. What do we want? We want bliss. We want pleasure. Anandamayo. Abhyasat. Abhyasat means we are practicing. We are practicing why? We are endeavoring so many times. Where can I get happiness? That like we were discussing in the earlier book, we are the earlier chapters, we are searching happiness in Dukhalayam. So we will be frustrated. So in order to get that peace, what is the realization that we need to get? We need to get the understanding of Bhagavan, which is beyond the Brahman stage, which is beyond the Paramatma stage. Right? These are all supreme aspects of the absolute truth. They are all supreme, but yet what do you call the loving reciprocation between the Lord and the devotee happens only in the stage of Bhagavan. When we realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Bhagavan, then we engage our senses in the service of the Lord, and in doing so, we will enjoy tremendous pleasure. We will enjoy bliss. And then Prabhupada also talks about whatever we see in this world, like Nisha Matish was asking, right? We see a wonderful, nice waterfall. Can we enjoy the waterfall? Yes, we can enjoy the waterfall. But what is our consciousness? Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has created this waterfall. My gratitude to Krishna. Krishna has given me these eyes to see this waterfall. And I express my gratitude to Krishna. In this way, whatever we see, whatever we perceive with our senses, if you understand that the source of that is Krishna, and we are grateful to Krishna for whatever Krishna has given us to see, to perceive, to enjoy, when we are grateful to the Lord, then a grateful heart never complains. Right? A grateful heart is the right patra, is the right instrument to receive the grace of the Lord, to receive the mercy of the Lord. Right? And Krishna also says, Mama, what is that? Mama Tejo Amsha Sambhava. Mama Tejo Amsha Sambhava. Whatever wonderful things you see in this world, it is but a spark of my splendor. So whatever beautiful we see, we should see that if this is so beautiful and this is just one spark of Krishna, then how much more beautiful Krishna should be, right? That should encourage us to go back home, back to Godhead, to serve Krishna and understand that I am a spark of the fire and Krishna is the complete fire. I am a spark, or I am a drop in the ocean of the water. So I have the same characteristic as that of the Lord, Sat Chit and Ananda. While I am infinitesimal, the Lord is infinite. Like that. All right. So let's continue reading. The real speaker is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is both within and without. Yeah, we studied this. Right. And we also studied what is the difference between a sannyas and tyaga. Right. We said that sannyasi means, actual sannyas means one who gives up all the activities, right? Being situated in the ashram. But what is better? Like Arjuna questions Krishna in the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Oh Krishna, what is the difference between Tyaga and Sannyasa? And what is better? And Krishna tells Arjuna, Tyaga is better than Sannyasa. Why? Tyaga means we are giving up the fruits of the activities. And being situated in Grahastha Ashram, Brahmachari Ashram, Vanaprastha Ashram also, and also in the Sannyasi Ashram, we can practice this essential aspect of renunciation, which is Yukta Vairagya. Yukta Vairagyam Uchyate. Anashaktasya Vishayan Yatharam Upayunjataha Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yukta Vairagyam Uchyate. That means when we dovetail everything in service of the Lord, that is the right way of renunciation, and that is called Tyaga. And one need not take up the sannyasa order of life in order to practice Tyaga. We can practice it being situated happily in the Grahastha Ashram. That's what Prabhupada is saying. Sannyasa is a question of realization, not social status. Right? It's not a social status that I clad myself with saffron cloth and then I become a sannyasi. No, it is more on the consciousness. Right? A sannyasi means he has to be completely dependent and fearless. He has to go travel all around the world and preach a message of Krishna, not wanting to understand how my dinner meal is going to come, how my lunch meal is going to come, who's going to provide for it, right? Whatever comes on account of the mercy of the Lord, sannyasi just travels from one place to another, right? We cannot artificially become sannyasis. However, we can practice Tyaga, being situated in our platform, like that. All right. So who wants to read? Okay, I'm seeing, yes, Vrishabhanu Kanya Mataji, go ahead. It is the duty of everyone to become Krishna conscious.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavats.
It is the duty of everyone to become Krishna conscious, and to serve the cause of Krishna. When one actually realizes this, he becomes a Mahatma or a great soul. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that after many births, when one comes to the platform of real knowledge, he surrenders unto me. Why is this? Vasudev Shravan.
Vasudeva Sarvam Iti.
Vasudev Sarvam Iti. The wise man realized that Vasudev Krishna is everything. However, Krishna says that such a great soul is rarely found.
Why is this?
If an intelligent person comes to understand that the ultimate goal of life is to surrender unto Krishna, why should he hesitate? Why not surrender immediately? What is the point in waiting for so many births? When one comes to the point of surrender, he becomes a real sannyasi. Krishna never forces anyone to surrender unto him. Surrender is a result of love, transcendental love. Where there is force and where there is no freedom, there can be no love. When a mother loves a child, she is not forced to do so, nor does she do so out of expectation of some salary or
Remuneration.
remuneration.
Hare
Similarly,
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So let's try to discuss this, right? It is said, Prabhupada also mentions in one of his lectures that the love that is experienced in the spiritual world, a small portion of that is actually seen in a mother's love for for a child, right? With that much of a selfless love is, something very close. But what the love in the spiritual world is much, much, much higher than this. But the closest semblance that we can see in this material world is a mother's love for her child, because there is no expectation. Of course, some mothers, we also have some expectations. Right? They should grow up, they should do this, they should do that. That we try to put our own expectations on our child. But the little bit semblance, we can say, of this ahaituki apratihata seva. That means a mother, even if she is unwell, she will get up and cook for the children, right? Even if she is not well, even if she is having a tough time, she will try to do her duty for the sake of her children. So that is the kind of ahaituki aprati seva that we want to exhibit towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? Without any material cause, ahaituki and uninterrupted, right? Whether or not we want to serve, whether or not we want to chant, we are chanting and serving. That is why we are sadhana bhaktas. When we are practicing this sadhana, then what happens? Automatically we will come to the stage of Raganuga Bhakti. Raganuga Bhakti means spontaneous love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then we don't have to, count our mala, 16 rounds ho gaya ki nahi ho gaya, 10 hua, 12 hua, 13 hua, like that. Right? We don't have to count because we want to serve the Lord, because the Lord gets pleasure out of it. Now we will continue to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We will continue to serve the Lord. And here Prabhupada mentions Bahunam Janmanamante Jnanaman Mam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabha. After many births, we come to the position to understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vasudeva Sarvamiti. And such a soul is very, very rare. Samahatma Sudurlabha. And Prabhupada also is talking about how Krishna never forces him to love him, right? Because there's no question of love when there is force. Right? We cannot force somebody to love, right? To someone else. As soon as Radhanath Swami Maharaj, like I mentioned in the earlier session, right? If you love something, you will care for it. If you like it, you want to pluck it, you want to enjoy it, you want to exploit it. But when you really love something, what is the feeling in your heart for that particular object? You want that object or that particular person to flourish. That is when you actually love that person. That is the difference between love and lust. Lust means you want to exploit that person. You want to use that person. You want to use that person for sense gratification. Like Maharaj also mentioned, we need to use things and love people. But what are we doing? We are love things and we use people to attain those things. That is the state of the world right now. That is why all of these problems are occurring in this world. So that is the difference between lust and love. Sindhu Mataji, go ahead. Similarly, we can love the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Similarly, we can Hare Krishna Prabhupada ki jai. Similarly, we can love the Supreme Lord in so many ways. We can love him as a master, as a friend, as child, or as husband. There are 5 basic rasas or relationships in which we are eternally related to God. When we are actually in the liberated stage of knowledge, we can understand that our relationship with the Lord is in a particular rasa. That platform is called Swarupa Siddhi, or real self-realization. Everyone has an eternal relationship with the Lord, either as a master and servant, friend and friend, parent and child, husband and wife, or lover and beloved. These relationships are eternally present. The whole process of spiritual realization and the actual perfection of yoga is to revive our consciousness of this relationship. At present, our relationship with the Supreme Lord is very pervertedly reflected in this material world. In the material world, the relationship between master and servant is based on money or force or exploitation. There is no question of service out of love. The relationship between master and servant, pervertedly reflected, continues only for so long as the master can pay the servant. As soon as the payment stops, the relationship also stops. Similarly, in the material world, there may be a relationship between friends, but as soon as there is a slight disagreement, the friendship breaks and the friend becomes an enemy. When there is a difference of opinion between son and parents, the son leaves home and the relationship is severed. The same with husband and wife. A slight difference of opinion and there is a divorce.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So here, this is Urdu Moolam Shakam, right? We studied that verse, right? 15.1, the first verse that we studied, that we studied today's session, right? We've been reading that. That this material world is a reflection of the spiritual world. So what is love? Parakya bhave jaha brajete prachar. That is the highest in the spiritual world, but that is the most condemned in this material world, right? So we follow rules and regulations, right? There is no a justified boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. But it is seen that Krishna and Radha had that relationship, right? Krishna prema me Radha, Radha prema mayo harihi. In order to understand the transcendental love, we need to go beyond the three modes of material nature. We need to transfer our consciousness from Bhoga Vritti to Seva Vritti, right? Because Radharani, that is her mood. She wants to serve Krishna. She does everything for the pleasure of the Lord. But what do? We do things for our own happiness, for our own sense gratification. I should feel happy, right? That's what Prabhupada is mentioning. Here the 5 rasas, Santa, Shanta rasa, Dasya rasa, Sakya rasa, Vatsalya rasa and Madhurya rasa, right? One can have any of these relationships with the Supreme Lord. It's called the Swarupa Siddhi, or the constitutional position, and situated there, one feels bliss in serving the Lord in that particular rasa. And Prabhupada also explains how here husband-wife relationship is, both of them are trying to exploit each other. When that is the reason why two people come together to see how they can enjoy at the expense of the other person. Then that results in fights and differences of opinion and there's divorce and other things, right? But when two people come together to keep Lord Krishna in the center and how we can serve the Supreme Lord, then there will be harmony, there will be peace in the family, like that. All right, so let's continue reading. Who else? Karpagavali Mataji, go ahead. No relationship in this material world from there.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavats.
Yes, Mataji. No relationship in this material world is actual or eternal. We must always remember that these ephemeral relationships are simply perverted relations of that eternal relationship we have with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We have experienced with that the reflection of an object in a glass is not real. It may appear real, but when we go to touch it, we find it that there is only glass. We must come to understand that these relationships as friend, parent, child, master, servant, husband, wife, or lover are simply reflections of that relationship we have with God. When we come to this platform of understanding, then we are perfect in knowledge. When that knowledge comes, we begin to understand that we are servants of Krishna and we have an eternal love relationship with him.
Hare Krishna. Right?
Thank
So,
you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
So one has any of these 5 kind of relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But what is the basis for all of these 5 kinds of relationship? Seva. Service is there in all relationship, whether it is Dasya Bhav, or it is Vatsalya Bhav, or it is Sakya Bhav, or it is Madhurya Bhav. There is always this service, right? Krishna wants to serve the devotees want to serve Krishna. So that service attitude is the predominant factor in all of the rasas. Love means service. To love means to please, to serve. To love means to serve. To serve means to please somebody. That is the actual exhibition of love. Prabhupada talks about how there cannot be love without service. If you love a person, you will automatically serve that person, like that. All right. So let's end with Navakishori Mataji. Please read. In this love relationship, there is no question of remuneration from there.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandavat pranam.
Haribol, yes.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Mataji. In this love relationship, there is no question of remuneration. Because of course, but of course, remuneration is there and it is much greater than whatever we earn here through the rendering of service. There is no limit of to Shri Krishna. Remuneration to this connection, there is the story of Bali Maharaja, a very powerful king who conquered a number of planets. The denizens of the heavenly planet appealed to the Supreme Lord to save them. for they had been conquered by the demonic king Bali Maharaja. Upon hearing their pleas, Shri Krishna took the shape of the dwarf Brahmana boy and approached Bali Maharaja, saying, "My dear king, I would like something from you. You are a great monarch and are renowned for giving in charity to the Brahmanas. So, would you give me something?" Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
So this is a beautiful pastime. We will read this tomorrow. We all know this pastime, isn't it? This Bali Maharaj, he is the grandson of Prahlad, right? So he is of this charitable disposition, and how Vamanadev comes and asks him for 3 pieces of land. So let's see this pastime, how it goes. So this is to depict that particular point, that when Krishna wants to award us something, right? Then with our 2 hands, it will not be possible for us to hold so much, right? Bhagavan jab dete hain to chappat phaad ke dete hain, like that they say, right? When the Lord gives us, we will not be able to hold with our 2 hands. And when the Lord wants to take away, how much can we protect with our 2 hands, right? That's why we should not be attached, right? When the Lord has given us everything, when the Lord wants to take it away, just give it. Right? When you give to the Lord, and then the Lord is happy, right? Because we are not supposed to be attached. This is the nature of the material world. That it is dukhalayam and it is ashashvatam. It is temporary. Everything is a passing phase. Whatever we may have now, we may not have it in the next moment. But when did we have anything actually for ourselves, right? Except for our desire, we don't have anything else to call our own. And the desire, one thing that we have, you have to make a proper utilization of that desire, proper use of the free will, and desire simply to serve, satisfy, and please our Guru and Gauranga. With that consciousness, when we work, then we will qualify ourselves. And we will never qualify, but at least it will be an endeavor from our part to go back home, back to Godhead, to attain Krishna Prema. And then, like Yashoda Maya was trying to bind, endeavor is there. But whenever Lord Shri Krishna bestows his mercy, then when endeavor meets mercy of the Lord, then it will be Safala. Right? Samsiddhir Haritoshanam. Hare Krishna. So with that, we will pause here. We'll read this wonderful pastime of Bali Maharaj and Vamanadev tomorrow. Shukracharya, Guru also tells, don't give the 3 steps of land. And then what does Bali Maharaj say? Then we will see that tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Gurudev ki jai. Ananta Kochi Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. So let's see who all we have. We have Sridhar Prabhu, Shobha Mataji, Vrishabhanu Kanya Mataji, Uma Maheshwari Mataji, Sindhu Mataji, not able to see you clearly. Okay. Karpavali Mataji, Purna Mataji, Nisha Mataji, Sarvagopishri Mataji, Moshmi Mataji, Shanta Prema, Anjana Mataji, Sudha Mataji, Vanmali Prabhu has joined us after a long time. Thank you, Prabhu. Pallavi Mataji, Navakishori Mataji, and Vasant Panchami Mataji. Okay. Thank you all for joining us every day. Vancha Kalpatharobhyascha, Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Ananta Kochi Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Thank you very much. Now we'll do Harinam Sankirtan and then we'll end our session. Okay, Pallavi Mataji is saying in office. All right. Thank you so much, Mataji, joining from office. Very grateful to you. Thank you. That's why we kept it in lunch time, so the devotees can join from office also. Hare Krishna. Namah Vishnu Padhaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatyaadishatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Jaya Gauranitai Jaya, Gauranitai Jaya, Gauranitai Jaya, Gauranitai Jaya, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam Jaya, Radhe Shyam Jaya, Vrindavan Dham, Vrindavan Dham, Vrindavan Dham Jaya, Vrindavan Dham Jaya, Nrsimhadev, Nrsimhadev, Prahlad Maharaj Jaya, Prahlad Maharaj Jaya, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Gurudev, Gurudev, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Nam Sankirtan ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Ananta Koji Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. All glories assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams to all the devotees. Everyone can remove themselves now. In case anyone wants to share anything, ask any question, we do so now. Otherwise, we'll meet tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Take Brahma Samhita again, Mataji.
Huh?
You have to take Brahma Samhita again.
Yeah. We will do Brahma Samhita after, like I asked Radhesham. He told that first you finish all the books of Prabhupada. Before you go to Bhagavad Gita, that time only you will have to pick up this. Right? We finish all the small books like Science of Self-Realization, Teachings of Queen Kunti, Perfect Questions, Perfect Answers, that sequence, everything. And then before we go to Bhagavad Gita, we will do Brahma Samhita. Yeah, we will do that. We'll try to study that in detail, actually. Yeah. Okay. Hare Krishna. All right. So thank you, dear devotees.
Mataji, I want to ask one thing. When you will do Krishna book?
Krishna book we will do after, before Brahma Samhita we'll do Krishna book.
Okay.
Once we finish the small books, then we will do Krishna book, and then we will do Brahma Samhita, and then we'll go on to Bhagavad Gita, and then Bhagavatam, and then Chaitanya Charitamrita. And then, if Krishna is willing, we'll also do Chaitanya Bhagavat also. Let's see. Nice for us. Hari bol. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Gurudev ki jai. Ananta Koji Gaura Bhakta